Shirley's trick, Patty? No, never.
7 o'clock. You got $40. I owe you 10.
Sorry?
Huh?
Every 4. Get it, Laurie, how are you?
That was only there for 2 minutes.
Very good.
Stevie Gilmore's kids were playing football. Straight in front. Jim Butler.
I'm here.
Well, if they are, if they're not, they've been. John, Jim, where am I sitting?
Hello, Ronnie. Yeah, of course. Not bad. Did you get me? Another 10 bucks, I suppose. But I want more of me on this one. I'm watching everybody else. G'day, Jenny. How are you?
I'm good, I'm not begging, I'm taking me.
On the road again. No? Travellers are over?
Oh, it's going to get worse, I can tell you.
What is this, Brooklyn?
G'day Jim, how are you mate? G'day Jeanette, how you going
Well, I knew he was back because I sent him the messenger. He's got a story to tell that she's been on the cruise ship. And he was on the Q&A and she died. She lived in New York. I don't know.
Black shorts of mine. Would be crushed with mine.
I told Paul they were so I think that's about as far as we can go at the moment. I don't want to push down past everybody.
Mine is not coming, so I took a chair away.
Gee, no chance. Mine is not coming, so she took it straight. Yeah, well, basically. Catch
If you want the microphone, she's got it. You too, Reggie.
Sorry, you're not filming?
Is that your phone?
Never washed it for 6 weeks.
Beautiful worry, isn't it? Your sister goes, look at her, and she bloody skinny bitch.
What do you keep yourself busy at?
Well, I work for Mighty Tenant. I've been here 14 years. I work for myself for 30 years. And I work for my mate. I've been here 14 years. And I've been here in the past.
You're supposed to be on it.
I've been present for 310
Oh, so it's on there. Somebody.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to try and make your way towards your seats, it'll probably take you a while. We'd like to get the show on the road and the barman will come out and run jugs for you. So if you'd like to try and find your seat and sit down, we'll get started. The type of people that have come through Riverside are really very special people. And as I said, if you don't, you may not see each other for many years. When you do, it's just like yesterday. And it's great to see you all here tonight. But I'm not as old as I appear to be, so I can't really go right back to the very beginning. But Pickles can for us. So he's going to come up here and say a few words for us. But the guys, and unfortunately, it's my diamonds. You may or may not know that over the years, as you will all know, there's been some wonderful people pass through Riverside. Unfortunately, a lot of them haven't stayed with us as long as they would have wanted to. I can, you know, people that were just passed away, and the older people, unfortunately, you know, we're getting to the stage where we're meeting where we don't want to meet now at funerals. And last week, unfortunately, we lost another member, Mickey Hanson, who was a wonderful, wonderful worker out here over the years and had been here for a very long time. And, you know, I'm sure you all know quite a few people, wonderful characters. I think that's probably the most important part about Riverside, the characters that it has created, and Pickles is certainly one of them. And he's going to fill you in a little bit about what it used to be in the good old days. It's not very
years ago, friends, Romans and countrymen, lend me your ears, just like them other bastards, always want to borrow something. Then another one, dearly beloved, reverend friends. Shit. We're gathered here this evening to celebrate a happy event. Old Pickles' give birth again. But anyway, I'd like to say hello to everybody that's here tonight. Walking around early, I shook hands with a couple of old mates and so forth. But let's get back to the serious part now. 1946 is when we started off after the war. I tried to tell Gronk the other day, but you never listened. But anyway, we walked around Portland, Clacton, to start the Riverside Football Club off again.
Just try that one. Because it's out of the kitchen. It's a dog over here. Hard time.
Tell you what, I bet none of the girls will be allowed to change like that. Excuse me, girls, that one's only used for ordinary meals. But anyway, get back to 1946. We started collecting money to raise, you know, to get the football club going again. So there's a couple of cheeky Charlies, me, Jamie, Bernie James, walking around with the tin on their hand. And I was up around about Webb Street. I don't know if you know the Seventh-day Adventist Church up here. We walked along and we come to this bloke. We had to walk 50 yards into his bloody house and knock on the door. And we said, when he came out, we said, we're collecting money to start the Riverside Football Club up again. He said, what? I said, we're trying to raise money to start the Riverside Football Club up again. He said, hey? he said, well, we're trying to raise money to get our football club going again. And he said, what? So anyway, we give him away, we walked out of the gate, and as we're going out, he said, don't forget to close the gate. And Jamie said, stuff your gate. And he said, yeah, stuff your Riverside football club. But, not to be deterred, we kept on. I mean, we got a couple of bob, but not much. Anyway, we got the club going, that was the main thing, wasn't it? You appreciate that, old buddy? Anyway, getting back to playing football, it was on the 6th of September 1947. We'd just beaten Rosewater. On the large reserve. And on the way home, my brother having his first driving lesson, tipped the truck arse over it. And you wouldn't believe it, there was bodies everywhere. Anyway, it's the busiest Port Adelaide casualty hospital ever been. And what was I going to say there? Anyway, we appealed to the Adelaide Suburban Football Association to give us a week off to get our players better, but no. So that's the first year we finished second. Now, moving along to about 1949, my old mate Ulla was playing Flinders Park in a sort of a grand final at Featherton. That was an amateur league, this one. Anyway, poor old Ulla was about 3 steps in front of me. I just kicked the dead-eaten goal, but we needed a point to win. So I thought, now, if Ulla can get this ball, we'll win this game. So anyway, we ran along towards it, and I went bang, straight up his bum. So he flew up in the air. You know what happened then?
Dropped the ball.
No, he fell back in my arms and he kissed me. I've still got the lipstick on my face. No, it's so precious. But anyway, we sort of moved along a little bit, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but anyway, come around about, well, I reckon we were having a party supper, and a bloke by the name of Bubbles Young used to play for us, and he lived in Dale Street, Portland, alongside the Catholic Church, mind you, and anyway, we just had a party supper on a keg, Bobby addressed us. Anyway, home we went, and about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, Bubbles took Shorty out to get out of bed and go out the front and have a wee. Anyway, bad luck for him, the coppers were there. So they charged him with indecent exposure. So anyway, he went to court, and the old judge said to him, what's your name? He said, Young. He said, occupation? He said, labourer. He said, children? He said, 15. He said, case dismissed. He said, this man was in his working clothes. And we always went east for a trip. Well, we weren't here. A lot of times we went to Winter and Waterloo, but this particular occasion we went east. So we always pulled up to the orphanage and give them lollies, chocolates and whatever. And the old father said, why are you going around and see the unfortunates? I said, you good idea. Where are they to? He said, well, about 3 miles down the road. Excuse me, I'm getting a little puffed. But anyway, Off we go. Malcolm in his big bus, that's Bull bus, and we pull up there. And there was Charlie Leckie. Anybody remember Charlie Leckie? Yeah. Ned Land? Yeah. Duke Oliver? Yeah. Anyway, when we get there, Malcolm pulls up, and the old head friend comes to meet us. So he opens the door. There's Charlie Leckie. Now Charlie used to have a match in his mouth, and he used to keep twisting it over his tongue. And underneath the tongue, there was a pebble, and that used to go from side to side at the same time. And then there was Duke Oliver. He had this cigarette holder, and he was a sort of an hunchback little fella, and he had the dewdrops dropping down. Well, that used to put the cigarette up when it got down far enough, and then he would give the cigarette holder a bit of a wash out, you know. But if I haven't turned off your tea, it didn't mean. And then there was old Ned, wonderful little fella, but he couldn't see. He used to have little beady eyes. And then there was Rocco, and Desi Russell sitting on the front seat of the bus. Anyway, when we pulled up, Malcolm opened the door, and the chief headstring comes over, and he looked in. He said, "Oh my God." And then he ran away. And I heard him saying, "Well, I'm already out of a crowd, I've got nothing room now." So I jumped out of the bus, and I said, "Doctor." He said, "Oh, please, please." I said, "Riverside Football Club." "Oh," he said, "Faint out." I said, "What's the matter, Doctor?" He said, "I thought they sent me another busload." But anyway, he said to me, "Now can you get all your members together and I'll address them?" Now in he comes and he gets us all there. Now he said, "Oh, don't be to get any of his patients excited." He said, "Just walk around among us, come on, sit down, and I'll come up and talk to you." No, fair enough. So we're sitting down there, and next thing this bloke come up to Herb, he said, "Who are you?" And Herb said, "I'm the goal umpire for the Riverside Football Club." Boy said, "You shouldn't be in here. Well, you should ask Captain and Cotton right there." He said, "Would you like to come in and I'll show you how we get on the weekend pass?" So in we go, there's Rexy Clark, coffee, a couple of others, and we're sitting there and the bloke comes in, he said, "What did they put me in over your eye?" He said, "I'll be half blind." He said, "What if I put both hands over both eyes?" He said, "I'll be blind." Oh, he said, "Very good." So we gave him a weekend pass. So he rushed out to his mate. He said, "Blind and blind." So in comes the next fella. He said, "What if I cut your left ear off?" He said, "I'd be half blind." He said, "What if I cut your other ear off?" He said, "I'd be blind." He said, "How'd you work it out?" He said, "Me fucking head before they met off." But anyway, we didn't have much money. We had a lot of fun. Thanks so much, Sean, for inviting me.
that's it. Who wants to follow that act? Well, it's Bronk's turn. What Pickles didn't tell you that he was a terrific administrator out here, and he really was part of the formation of the Riverside Football Club, and he was here for many, many years, and as you can see, he's still here. We have functions now, and he still comes along. But this one of his offsiders now, Bronk. You all know Bronk, and he's certainly had something to say.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Pickles took a little bit of thunder there. He went on the comical side of it. I'll try and go on the football side. Well, he is a comic, and no doubt about that, he is a comic. We talk about when we started Amateur League in 1949. I was only a little boy, about 16. All my friends are there, Alfie, Vicky, Pongo. I'm not allowed to call him Pongo tonight, I'm sorry, I do hurt. Old Albie over there, Louis Williams and all them fellas, they made this club. We used to work here for nothing. Pounds, shillings and pence we try to raise, like Pickles said, penny raffles, whatever you do, we try to do it. Cheap, steal, anything. We got there somewhere along the line. As he said, old Ned Lean, Jammy, Charlie Lackey, they used to sell their raffle tickets here every morning. Hundreds of them. 5 cents a time, just to keep this club rolling along. Old Pongo, he used to be the bar manager. He used to do it well. Till one day, he made a mistake and we went on strike on him. You'll never forget that, will you, Pop? But he's a good man, Herbie. He worked tireless for this club for many, many years, and he should be appreciated. I've had the honour of playing in 2 premierships. Pickles, he played in 1. Bad luck, he was too old for the 2nd. On both occasions, we had a dead heat in both occasions. That unnew in Amateur League. The first year, in 1950, Flinders Park was undefeated. They had their dinner, they had their trip, and they had everything arranged. Them days, it was 3rd versus so-and-so, 2nd versus so-and-so. They was premiers, they had the right to challenge. We beat them, they challenged us. We drew, and we kicked them off the ground at Theberton Oval. And Buller Murray kicked the greatest goal you've ever seen in your life. It never stopped coming down. Is that right, Rocco? I agree with you. We won by plenty. So they had to cancel all their trips, everything. That's the spirit of the Riverside Football Club. We was gone before we got there, but we won it at the finish. And Perce over there, which he wouldn't tell you, and Mickey, which is deceased, and myself, are the first life members of Amateur League. And, where we going? When I was a kid, before I come here, we used to play up on the oval out there. I was 15. And old Lenny Gallagher said to me, son, you're not playing here, you're going up the oval. I said, well, I'll be back when you're gone. That was 1948, so I'll come back in 1949. But when we was in old Duke's shed down there, there used to be a shed right down the other end. You used to have to go to the swamps that come on the ground here. Full of sawdust, full of cockles, anything. They copped us with cockle shells one year. And then, we had a dump out there. When the opposition come down, we just go and light the dump. They couldn't sell the steak, so away we went. We used to be used to it. Then days, we used to have the Christensons. Terry, you know the Christensons, old Jupiter, he used to run a raffle. Used to be a silver tray and a meat cover. He'd go around and get all the money in the world for the silver tray and a milk cover. Only shrumpers go. When he come in, someone wondered, you know what it was? Silver tray and a froggy. Shrumpy bit and a froggy. Oh, they used to get up some tricks, these boys, I'll tell you. And old Uncle Rex, he was a good fundraiser. We used to get him up to sing Old Man River. Or the other one, everyone throw all the money. Boo, all the money on the floor, get rid of him. To the floor up. Here's another good fundraiser, I like everything. Old Albert over there. He's a good old man, Albie Hanson. He's a great stalwart at the Riverside Football Club.
Certainly.
I hope I haven't let a few of my friends out, Alfie and Vicky and all them, and all the friends I've been associated with, and I hope this next club is as successful as this one. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ron. It will be difficult tonight not to forget some people, but we did want Albie to say a few words, but he hasn't been too flash for a while, but we're just so pleased that he was able to come tonight, but he still shuffles over here every now and then and annoys everyone here, but he's a wonderful old man, and we're so pleased he was able to come tonight. Unfortunately, I just would like to mention that Bobby White also started around Bronx time, and you'd all know Bobby, I'm sure, and he was coming this evening, and unfortunately he's in hospital, he's had a bypass operation, but he's coming along okay, and he was very disappointed. He asked me to send his best wishes to everyone. So we move on now to the 50s, and it was in the 50s that Ribbies had their first A1 amateur league premiership. And the gentleman that took them to that premiership is Alan Greer. And Alan's here tonight. And he's going to come up. He's not too keen on speaking, but we were able to talk him into saying just a few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Riverside Football Club, I would wish to pay a tribute to the Riverside Club. In particular, the members, the early members that Betty was talking about. Most of those people lived in the Portland area and Queenstown, pretty close to Portland. And they all lived in fairly small to medium-sized houses, but it didn't stop them from having large families. And most of those large families were associated with the Riverside Club. Now, I can remember coming down here as a young lad, having a kick on this oval when it was wet, and it was all clay. And I tell you, if you were 5'10" when you started to play, you were 6'1" when you finished. The clay just wouldn't go off your boots. Then came along to around about 1946. I was playing football with Port Adelaide my first year, and we went to Hobart for a trip. And when I came back, I played cricket here for Port Adelaide also, and we had a C-grade side that played down here on the Riverside ground, an old concrete wicket, and the oval had changed then to something like a shortwood type of top, and the opening bowlers had to shine on the ball for at least 2 overs. Then, from then onwards, it became a turfed oval. They built a picket fence around it, they put up a decent scoreboard, and they built these club rooms. Now, these people that built these club rooms worked for a glass of beer at the end of the day. And that was the spirit of the Port Adelaide Football Club. Riverside, sorry. Probably Port Adelaide too. But from there, I would like to go back to my time here. We played in the
A2 division, and we finished second that year and went up into A1. The next year, I don't know if it's been done since, but it was the first time that the team had gone from A2 to A1 and win a premiership. Next year we played and we finished second in A1 again. Now, I would like to thank the people from the Riverside Football Club, because we had a very good committee who were very helpful to me. They ran the club and I ran the players. It worked out extremely well. As a matter of fact, I'd like to pay a compliment to them, because I reckon they ran the club better than a league football team that I coached many years later. No club is successful without a ladies committee, and I must add that these ladies down here at Riverside were exceptional. They raised a tremendous amount of money for this club. Then we go back to the training staff, selectors and the people that were with the club while I was here, and we were lucky enough to have Flowery Adair as our head trainer for the first year, and then we had a marvellous bloke and old first butler as a head trainer in the last 2 years. So all in all, I had a good backup staff while I was here. The players, last but not least, were, I'll put it this way, most people thought that when we played off, or when we started in A1, that we wouldn't get very far. When we got to the grand final, most people hooked to there again had the opinion that the university were far too talented for us. They were much taller, much taller. But when I look back on the team, I have some photos at home here the other night, and I looked through the players there, and we had a lot of talent there. We also, I put it down, we won the grand final on two counts. One, we had a plan which they call a game plan these days. And we had the determination to win. And the result was excellent. So I'd like to say thank you to all the players at that time. The next year, we went into A1, which we won. A bit of luck comes into this one. We played Rosewaters on the Albert Noble, and our leading ruckman got reported. So we go up to the tribunal, and the umpire happened to be Bill Henderson. And in my opinion, Bill Henderson was the best umpire in amateur league at the time. But Bill didn't get an appointment for the grand final. Brian Wilson got it. Brian was quite a capable umpire, but in my opinion not as good as Bill. So at the tribunal, Bill, I don't know why he didn't turn up, but he didn't turn up to present his case. So Alec Trimble didn't have to face any charges. So it's a little bit of luck for us. The next one, we played the grand final, and we got beaten by Semaphore Central, and on the Sunday before the grand final, we had a big bloke by the name of Butler, Chris Butler, very good ruckman, went and played on the Sunday and twisted his ankle. So we lost that one. So there's a little bit of luck in winning and losing grand finals. We also had some luck. I hope you don't mind me talking on. We played Semaphore Central here on this ground. At three-quarter time, by the way, there was a lot of money on this game. Don Fletcher was captain coach of Centrals, and the Ruby boys came up with a few bob and backed themselves pretty heavy. So at three-quarter time, we were 7 goals down. 2 minutes into the last quarter, they kicked 2 more. We were 9 goals down. We finished up winning by 1 point. Fletcher, Don, my friend, wasn't very happy. We played them on a return game down at Larks Bay, and at the end of the game, the scoreboard showed both teams were drawn. One goal umpire had Riverside a point up, and the other goal umpire had Centrals a point up. And the umpire had to call on his official scorer, the timekeeper, and we were lucky we won a game by a point. We've had a bit of good luck. From then, I just like to mention a few little things. We had a bloke by the name of Eddie Creamer. We used to call him Canvas back. He was always on the training table. He kicked the ball one day out from the Adelaide end, and the ball went out of bounds in the forward pocket. There's a tremendous kick, I'll let it. Then we had in the A2 division, we played a game against Prince Albert College, and they told us about some marvellous liniment they had called fine algon. And the more you rub this into your injury, the hotter it got. And we tried it out down here, and we had one of our players had a groin injury. So they rubbed this liniment into his groin, and unfortunately some of it got onto his jockstrap. And the further he ran, the hotter it got. This chap was in terrible pain. He was in that much pain he was crying, and he came off the ground at half time and couldn't continue. Just like to ask George, how's your hot rod these days?
This used to go back long times ago, when we used to have the waterside workers sport. And a better dinner you couldn't get. The only good part about it only cost $10 then, but never mind, the memories are still there. Now, to get on the serious side of this business, is with remorse I speak that there's not going to be a Riverside. All you chappies here, foundation members, and all that, love to see Riverside. But lately, where do you see Riverside now? In A3 down the bottom. And no one likes that. Now we've got the chance, or you've got the chance, combining with these two sides, and you could have better days. And I wish you well to do that. Now, I came down from the Albert Noble, I don't know, about 1954, as their coach. I was an unfortunate bugger that got $30. I think I still got it in the bank. I'd like to reflect upon some of the old blokes, or the older blokes now that were here when I started, and you couldn't have got a better committee or workers in the place. There was the Gill brothers, Jack and Pompey, not Coffee Johnson, Jack Johnson, Kirby, Yetley, commonly known as, I worked for him, Soapy, but first got another name for him. And Rexy Clark, Bert Nose Clark was an institution of this club, and if I've missed out any, I'm sorry, but they were the kind of chaps I met when I first came here. Now, unfortunately, when I coached them, we only had one team. One team, and half the oval was grass, the other half was cockleshaws. And no way could we get a B grade side. The B grade, what turned out to be, always trained in the Portland Hotel. So I just gave that idea away. Now, I just like to go through the side I really coached, or a few years on from there. I'll go back to the back. If anyone's here, will they just yell out and say I'm here? Reggie Bar or Basher Bar, paid in the back pocket. Dropkick Kennedy, Ronnie Kennedy. Right, in a halfback flank we got Katie Miller. Myself as Moss Trooper, don't know why. And the other halfback flank was Dougie White. Centres were Chucky Schumack, I saw him. Bentnose Watson played there. And Toddy Clark, I think, played centre. Yeah, not too sure on the other wing. Then there was the White Boys. I used to call them Midnight and Minute Pass. That was our brother. Half forward line was Dennis Gill. What a bugger he was. His old man knew more than me anyhow, so. And half forward, centre half forward, I'm not too sure there. Half forward flank was, I'm not too sure there either. But going back to the forward line, there was this character, Pickles Renton. You could not admire this bloke. He was one, as I say, one of the members, early members. But Pickles was, to me, the Riverside Football Club. Now, I'll just give an instant what he did. We had a secretary here once, Bob Jackley, no, Blowfly Jackley. They picked me up on the Port Road in Croydon. We're going to play at Teachers College. Well, apparently Pickles and Blowfly had a bit of an argument. So Pickles walks up to Blowfly with a cigarette in his hand, but in reverse. And he says to Blowfly, "Forget everything that happened, we'll be mates from now on." So he shook his head. Well, he couldn't call that many beans and everything. That's not the finish of it. Pickles went up 10 minutes later, apologised and shook hands with him again. Exactly the same thing happened. And another thing about this club, we had a movie picture made. Unfortunately, the film has been lost. But what happened that was titled "Who Stole the Keg?" Someone rolled up to the Portland Hotel with a cart, horse, and they were the robbers. Then they had the coppers chasing, which was Flowery O'Danny's old Buick, all dressed up like the Keystone Cops. And then Herbie Hemsley, another character in this club, had his motorbike and he put someone in the back, tore off, the bloke fell off the back. But when they arrived, they caught the gang, but the gang went right through the homes in Langham Place. And I remember Mrs. Johnson saying, they took guns, they took everything. But the cops behind were chasing them. And to cut a long story short, they came along the railway line. There used to be the swimming club over the side. And the beer stealers jumped in the water and swam the other side. Guess who didn't jump in the water? Soapy. But he ended up in the water because a bloke called Pickles Red and pushed him. And we didn't see the film for some time, and it was shown here, and we were watching it. Sure, there it was. Pickles had pushed Sophie. Well, Sophie just said, "I've been waiting to find it." She said that to me. That's it, it was on. It was bloody friendly, but it was on. So that's just some of the funny parts about it. Another funny part about Riverside, we used to have these party suppers. And Pickles again would play the piano, natural pianist he was. And he got up, he played the Happy Wanderer. Two sides were opposite sides of the room, and there were about 30 one side and 40 the other. And the person stirred everybody up by saying, come on, who sang the loudest? And the crowd on that side, we did. And he said, oh, I don't think. And they said, we did. So he played all over again. Well, it got louder and louder. Next minute, a pasty went across the floor. Pasties and cakes and everything. That was unreal. And there was old blokes like saying, you dirty lot of buggers. It's the last pasty fight you're going to get. Last pasty supper. Well, I reckon within 10 minutes, all the boys had the whole clean floor spotless. That's just some of the funny things. But I'm not going to keep any longer. But I do wish this club, the combined club, the best for the future. Let's hope we see them in the A1 table Sunday morning. Thank you very much.
Just on that, on the picture night, I was really disappointed. I've been trying for weeks to get hold of that film, but the fella that made it and owned it, Arthur Howe, is in hospital. And it was going to be a big surprise. No, Cliff put me on to Arthur. It belongs to Arthur Howe. But yeah, because it was a great film, and that was going to be a big surprise tonight, so you're not having it, so that's bad luck. But just before we have a break, also in those minutes, the picket fence that was mentioned by Alan, that came to the Cheltenham Cemetery, and the scoreboard came to the Port Football Club. So then it used to be over on this side of the oval, but that was just a couple of things I think probably people didn't realise. But so we're going to have a break now for about 10 minutes, and then we'll get into the 60s. Okay?
Only in the 50s. Yeah.
Early 60s. Tom's come down from Borough, and Maxie Greer has come down from Port Germain, and Darryl Myers, who all know, he's been working today and just driven over from the York Peninsula, and he's got to drive back tonight, so he can work tomorrow. So he really did want to come here. So now, if you're all quiet, you're all good boys and girls. Alan Staton is going to have a few words to us now. Alan's been an icon in the SAAFL for, we don't know, we don't want to even have to ask Alan, it's a long time. So if you could please, a bit of decorum, because we do have a lot of people here who really want to hear what these people have got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley, and the committee for the kind invitation to come down here on such an important night for the Riverside Football Club. It was great to see so many of the old timers here, particularly so many who have represented the state. But I would ask them to remember that what happened interstate, and please don't tell my wife. When Alan Greer was talking, it reminded me that many years ago, I played against him when he played for Queenstown Church of Christ, and I played for Albion Methodist. My father being the minister there, of course, I had no choice. But Father, whenever he got in the pulpit, of course, he had his Bible, and I look on this book here, which we've got out now, and everyone who played interstate football should have one. This is just a free plug if I can, Shirley. They're only $25. It's been compiled by Dr. Frederick Archibald Block, commonly known as Chocker. So, as my father would have said, this evening's lesson we've taken from the Epistle according to St. Frederick on page 365, commencing at the second paragraph. And this is about the Riverside Football Club. Back in the 1920s, pick-up teams from various streets of the district would play social matches, and these teams formed the basis of the Riverside Club, formed in 1928, originally called the Dale Streets. A canal used to run at the back of the old mill between the Kent Hotel and the present Oval, with the river alongside that, so it was decided to call the club Riverside. Facilities were frugal. as the change rooms were made of kerosene cans cut in half to form the walls, and the roof was made from brush. For a shower, players would bring in buckets of water and tip them over each other. And in its first 6 seasons, the clubs won every premiership in the Port Adelaide Association. Labor applied to the amateur league but was unsuccessful at this attempt. Shame.
Your problem.
They eventually, after the war, were admitted in 1949. Now, there's a lot of good history in here, so $25 from the league office. From it, it's worthy to note that in the 48 years with the league, there have been 17 premierships, including 3 in A1. The club's won 13 medals, including 2 in A1. There have been 103 players chosen in the state teams, and in 1977 you had 7 in it. They have had 5 captains of the state side, 6 vice captains, 1 occasion both captain and vice captain. 8 players have been chosen in all Australian sides, and in 1988 Ivan Coles was the vice captain. So they've got a very good record of providing the the league with representatives and the like. When Alan was talking, of course, in '62, he was the coach of the side that went to Melbourne, and Pies was Bobby White was the captain. It was the only team that I've ever been the manager for, and I won't tell you the results. Over the years we've had great assistance from the club. There was Pickles was on our executive, George Brookman, Johnny Gilmore, Albie Johnson and Desmond Russell. They've all put in made a tremendous contribution to the league as a whole. The secretaries I can remember who have really been of enormous assistance were Percy Renton, and he was followed by Johnny Gilmore. Who's the next one? Albie Johnson, and then someone called Russell came along the scene, and followed by Shirley Brookman,